Hey, Emma.
Yes, Madelyn.
When is Kingdom Hearts 3 going to be released?
Gosh, Madelyn, I don't know.
Sometime in 2018.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm on a roll with my joke today. I'm one of your hosts, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And I really actually made Emma laugh that time.
That's because that's a really funny joke.
She wasn't ready for my super funny joke.
Yeah,
welcome to our episode.
Yeah.
I guess I sort of already said that.
Yeah.
Welcome to our episode. Hope you haven't run away after my great joke.
Yeah.
To see if it's really going to be
too much?
Released next year.
They say it's gonna.
LOL.
They say it is. But then there was also an interview where Tetsuya Nomura said, who is the creator of both a lot of the Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts. He's like the mind behind it. He was saying that in some cases, like cutscenes, Final Fantasy VII Remake is actually ahead of Kingdom Hearts 3 in terms of development. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 has most of its gameplay, as opposed to Final Fantasy VII, but doesn't really have any of its cutscenes.
Well, that's swell.
Yeah.
That makes me feel great. That makes me feel just excellent.
But the gameplay looks awesome, so there's that.
Right, but okay,
there's
whatever.
A Toy Story world.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
I know.
So as you might have already ascertained, this week we're going to be talking about, I mean, it's really, like, it's an old and a new game.
Yeah.
But it's not at all. It's kind of one world of games. So we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts, which is technically our old game, even though we're talking about the one that hasn't been released yet, and Final Fantasy. Which number are we doing?
15.
15, which is our new game, even though the Final Fantasy series predates and is sort of spun off in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I know. I almost feel like we should talk about Final Fantasy first, even though we usually start with our quote-unquote old game.
Yeah, we have this sort of time twister going on this week of these games that, in our hat, were just because we picked them together. They would have made sense on their own as old and new games.
Yeah.
But we hit this Square Enix, are they Square Enix?
Yeah, it's Square Enix.
Weren't they just Square for a while?
They were just Square for a while, and then they merged with Enix and became Square Enix.
This not circular Enix.
Squeenix.
The Squeenix of games. So how do we start off? This might be a jam-packed episode, because we've got a lot to say.
Yeah. Yeah,
As
I know,
you can tell
but where do you start with
jam-packed opening?
I think we should start with Final Fantasy.
Cool, that's good. Let's talk about Final Fantasy. That way everyone will forget that I know nothing about it by the end of the episode.
So, Final Fantasy is a long-running series of JRPGs. I don't really know when the first one came out, but it was supposed to be the last game for Square because they were struggling a lot financially. But
hence Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but it did so well that it kept them afloat, so they kept making them. 15 main titles with plenty of sequels and spin-offs.
How many years has this been being made? 15, well, however bajillion many games?
How many years? I just said I don't really know when the first one came out. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997.
Okay. That's still a lot of games in... No, I'm lying. That's not true, actually. That's not a lot of games. That's very few games.
What do you mean?
Even if they've made like 20 games, it's taken them, well, okay, I'm being unfair, right?
Well, there's
people should make games in like a month.
Universes, quote unquote, sort of. Mm-hmm. But then, like, Final Fantasy X also has Final Fantasy X-2. Final Fantasy VII has Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. There are 3 13s.
I'm sorry.
What?
Final Fantasy Crisis Core?
It's a prequel.
That's such a terrible name.
It's a really good game, though. I played it. It was on PSP.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying somebody should have thought before they named their game Final Fantasy Crisis Core.
But no, there's a whole bunch of, like, spin-offs and that sort of stuff and sequels. So it's like, this one's 15, but it's not their 15th Final Fantasy game.
Right.
And 2 of them were online. So Final Fantasy 14 is like an online massive multiplayer. And I think so was Final Fantasy 11.
Okay, so most of my experience with Final Fantasy is, well, one, watching you play this new game and drive around in your car and cook stuff and be like a weird-looking boy band. But also, I remember that we rented it once.
10. I think we rented 10.
I can't believe that you know that, but, like, okay, fine. So, we rented Final Fantasy X, and this was back in the days when they were, like, multi-disc games.
Maybe it wasn't
right?
10. I don't know.
Okay, well, I remember there being more than one disc of this game. Not that we ever really got to disc 2, I don't think, so it's not really relevant. But just at the beginning of the game is massively boring.
Yeah. No, Final Fantasy games are definitely really long, and oftentimes really linear as well.
Well, isn't this most recent one, though, sort of an open world?
Yeah,
or a quote-unquote open world?
Well, this most recent one is like sort of a drastic shift away from anything that Final Fantasy has been, because it's usually been turn-based combat also. Like, not like Final Fantasy, not like Fire Emblem turn-based combat, but like, you know, you enter battle, and then, like, it takes a certain amount of time for your turn to come back up.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that may have been what was boring for, like, young me, is that we were used to Kingdom Hearts, for example, and, like, other sort of, like, those games, and, like, had some experience with, like, Pokemon and stuff, where it's, you know, turn-based, it's just, like, your turn, their turn, but, like, having to wait time to attack, and also having all these long cutscenes, and just, like, nothing happening, was really boring.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy 15 is, like, a huge break away from tradition, because it's real-time combat, and open world to a certain extent. Like, after a certain chapter, you get sort of locked in. But the beginning part is open world. You have side quests that you do that are, you know...
Hey, side quests.
Yeah, side quests.
Hey!
Listen to our side quests.
Hey, tune in.
And all that sort of stuff. So it's, like, vastly different in that way. And also in the fact that you only really have, like... Usually you, like, collect party members as you go along. It's, like, the traditional way of doing it. Whereas this one, like, you have a couple of party members that join you for, like, a chapter, quote-unquote. But you have your 3 party members from the beginning. And they just are there.
Wow, sounds like Kingdom Hearts.
Reasons. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Does
I really
Aladdin
think
fight
that
with you?
They made a lot of design decisions based on Kingdom Hearts.
Well, that's what I was, like, thinking about when I was hearing it. I was like, okay, it's like they get to run around, they get to fight in real time. You've got these, like, party members that join your party, but, like, who cares about them? Because you have to level up the people that you actually are going to keep in your party.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, like, okay, so, like, what do all of these games have in common, right? Because, like, we call them all a series, but, like, there's no real character continuity between them, right?
No. It's more like a thematic continuity of fantasy elements. No, fantasy elements mixed with big, sprawling, sort of royalty stories, in a way.
Gotcha.
And a lot of them also combine sort of industrial stuff with magical stuff. That's sort of a theme that runs through at least some recent ones.
That's not steampunk, right? That's like...
it's sort of steampunk, but not exactly steampunk.
Steamcraft.
I wouldn't call it steampunk exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of just like they have similar elements, and so therefore become part of the series. Like, it's the same thing with, like, you know, the Fire Emblem games.
Well, but except the Fire Emblem games, a lot of them do at least take place in the same world.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But some of them, like, they're still called Fire Emblem, but they're entirely different worlds. It's just that the gameplay systems and some of the thematic content is the same.
Okay, but then that's what I'm going to dispute here a little bit in terms of, like, is there another sort of anthology series like Final Fantasy? Like, you were saying that for most of them we have this turn-based system, but now we have this new one that's open world and real-time combat. And so Fire Emblem, at least you can say, well, all of them have this same combat system, you know, the bones of it. But are there any other video game series that are as sort of disparate as Final Fantasy?
Probably. I don't know.
Wow. Good answer, Emma.
Thanks.
I was just saying if you could think of any off the top of your head, because I can't. I think it's interesting that, like, this massively popular video game series, I don't know, I guess, like, Halo, maybe, or, like, Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, in terms of why this one is so different, though, is people didn't receive 12 and especially 13's games very well. Critically, at least. Like, they thought that, like, the turn-based combat was becoming, like, something that they didn't like in games, at least in the way it was. And, like, they were like, oh, like, literally in 13, they're like, we're just running down hallways throughout the whole thing. So they took it to, like, the opposite extreme. But also because Final Fantasy 15 took 10 years to make, it was originally supposed to be part of the 13 universe, and then they decided to make it its own thing. So for like 3 years, it was under development as Final Fantasy Versus 13, and then for about 7 years, it was under development as Final Fantasy 15. And so look at the trailers in that time, it's sort of amazing. Just like the character designs even, the way they've shifted and changed and how they actually ended up. And even after release now, they keep adding updates, which is a not so fun video game trend these days, but they keep updating things after they've released it. I mean, most of them for free, to be fair. Like, they just updated the car so that you can take it off-road.
I saw that.
Yeah. And they could have charged for that, but they didn't, so that's at least good. But it's more of a problem, like, they've been updating, like Chapter 13 in 15 is sort of really despised because it's, like, you running down hallways with no weapons and no party members for, like, 2 hours.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and it's in some ways it's supposed to feel that way, but it's a little bit too far. So they've been, like, trying to change story elements also to make the story make more sense. And those are the things that bug me more about after release updates. It's like, maybe you should have delayed it another year, but
because like this is like a big trend that's happening now is that basically because games get released like just like buggy as all heck now, and basically we're all paying to be playtesters until they fix it.
I mean, not all games, to be fair, and it's pretty common practice for most games to have a day one patch, which I think is fine. Like a couple of things that they need to add, like, very last minute, and I think that's fine. And it's just more bothersome when they continue updating it and not, like, adding new content, but, like, fixing things, you know?
Yeah, it does seem like this is something that you should have figured out. If it was so major, like, somebody should have noticed somewhere, you know, in that second hour of running down the hallway that maybe this is not the experience that they wanted to create.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of being true to the thematic and emotions of that point, like, it's very affecting in that way, but it needed to be shorter, and your weapon, like, the one weapon that you have needed to be a little bit more useful, you know? Like, they just took it a couple of steps too far, I guess.
But that seems like something they should have been able to figure out.
How long? That's also, like, Persona 5 came out. It took that long to develop, but it's also, like, perfect, you know? So it's harder to get mad about that. It's like, well, I waited so long for this, but, you know, you did it, guys. Like, you made it worth it. Whereas this one, it was like, it took so long, and, like, why are some of these things still like this?
Well, clearly because they were making, like, 3,000 different games in one game.
I mean, true.
But that's not really an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, if it's taken you 10 years to make a game, you should have caught something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just a whole video game culture thing now, right? Of, like, extra, after-the-fact, downloadable content. And you don't really get the full game unless you pay even more and all that stuff.
I do like they're releasing, like, 3 DLC episodes with where you play as the other party members that takes place during the story, but you don't necessarily need them to understand. And the first one, episode Gladio, was apparently really bad, but the second one, episode Prompto, is much better. and then they have one more coming out in about like 6 to 8 months, and they're like $5 each. And I think that's a fine DLC system as terms of games go, like this, because it really is like extra content.
Sure. I mean, I'm fine with saying, like, here's your finished game and pay for more levels.
Yeah.
Like, like, I'm thinking of, like, a Mario game right now. Like, I would be fine if Nintendo was like, here's Mario, and also if you want, we've got these, like, bonus levels that, like, we were working on and didn't love, so pay us a little extra for them.
I think DLC should do something to enhance the experience, but should also be something that doesn't feel like it would have fit into the main game.
Yeah, it's the deleted scenes, like in a movie. When you buy the DVD and you get the deleted scenes or the bloopers or whatever. Like, I love bloopers. I would pay for video game bloopers if they made those.
I don't think those exist. No.
Yeah, I know they don't, but I'm just saying I would pay for them. So anyone listening out there, you got a customer base for bloopers in your game.
Yeah. But using episode Prompto as an example from what I've read about it, because I haven't played it yet, but I sort of want to. It's like the combat system's entirely different because you're playing as Prompto and he uses guns, right? And just also like there's this really fun looking feature where you can just take selfies with enemies because he takes the photos during the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, this feels like uniquely, like this wouldn't fit in the game. Like if you just like transitioned me over to Prompto and did this, even though it takes place during the story, like it wouldn't make sense. It would feel weird. So it's like something that was made to enhance the game but wouldn't fit into the main game.
Well, here's my question though. If this is a studio where they are, for whatever reason, occasionally taking 10 years to develop games, why are they bothering to create, like you were saying, like it has a completely different combat system? Why would you bother to create this, like, dinky little sort of bonus side quest when it's already taking you a decade to make a game?
3 to 4 hours of content.
Yeah, but I know, but that's 3 to 4 hours of content that could have been created for, like, a future game.
I mean, true, but it's also a way, I think it can be a way to test your abilities, right? Like, Final Fantasy 15 is already pretty out of the realm of normal for this series, so like how far can we take this, what other systems can we develop, that sort of thing.
But that's interesting, because then even though, so it's like we're talking about how like, oh, we're all being used as playtesters for these like buggy games, but that means they're also using us as playtesters for like, do people like this about our, like,
well, that's just selling a video game, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
all
just thought it was funny.
playtesting for, will people like this? Should we do more of this? What don't people like, so that we can use that moving forward in our games?
Yes, but in this case, it's a bonus mini game. I don't know. It seemed relevant. Okay, I'm dumb. Okay, it seemed like a good point, but I admit it. I'm stupid and know nothing about video games.
No,
here it is, live on Talk This. I admit it.
Okay. Sure.
Wow. She just lets it go. She doesn't say, no, Madelyn, you're a great co-host. I love talking about video games with you.
I believe in you.
That's not what I said. I believe in you implies that there needs to be improvement.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay. This has been another episode. Bye. Don't have a great day.
No, like, to tie this analogy of I believe in you to you, Madelyn. This is because this has been like Square Enix is like, okay, I believe in you, Square Enix, because like people are so unimpressed with 13, and you can see in 15 them trying to take that feedback and make something that fits the current market in a certain way, fits the current consumer demand, and even though it's not perfect, that at least shows some care on their part a little bit of being like, okay, this is more what people want. We're listening to the feedback people give us. And of course there's the skeptical thing of saying like, well, yeah, they want to make money. But, you know, whatever.
Do people just hate turn-based games now? Are turn-based games just out of vogue?
People love Persona 5, so no.
Fair enough.
I think it had more to do with the level design of 13, and also that the characters were kind of unlikable, or at least some of them were. I don't know why they made 3 of them. That's a mystery that will never be solved. But
maybe eventually they thought people would come around.
Nope. But they're doing a lot of remakes.
Right, yeah, I've heard about like the ones that, well, nostalgia is in, right? So
yeah. Well, they released the HD remaster of Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. And soon they're releasing sort of like a remaster, but also sort of like an updated system for Final Fantasy XII. And then, of course, they're doing a full-on reboot of Final Fantasy VII, which is weird. I don't know how I feel about, like, the full-on reboot thing.
What does that mean, like a reboot?
Well, the fact that they're not just, like, taking the game that was made and bringing it so that it can play on a newer console, so that it looks slightly better. They're redoing all the graphics, all the cutscenes. They're adding, like, voices, all that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
And that I think that they've even said, like, we're looking at story elements, too.
Wow.
And they've said they're going to, like, release it episodically also, whatever that means.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. People are going to hate that.
Yeah.
All of that sounds like exactly like what nobody wants from a rebooted game.
Yeah. I honestly, like, what I've played and when I've seen of Final Fantasy VII, it almost works because the sprites are so stupid looking. You know? Like, there's this sort of, like, fun, goofy energy for as dark as it gets at some points. But there's also, like, a Cloud infiltrates, like, he has to cross-dress at one point, so he can infiltrate, like, I don't remember what it is. But it's like, is this going to play out the same way with, like, really good graphics? Like, how do you capture, like, it's because their arms and legs are, like, little balloon things, I feel like.
Good.
That adds, like, more of, like, an edge of comedy as opposed to, like, but not, like, making fun of, because they already look stupid.
It sets a tone.
They all look stupid always, you know? But, yeah, it's like, will this be the same with updated graphics? I feel the same way. They're doing a remake of Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
On PlayStation 4. And some of the charm of that is the fact that it is kind of hard to control and the graphics are a little weird. You know? I don't know. It's like I guess you get attached to the versions that you know. And then you're like, is this really gonna, like, is updating the graphics and making the controls easier really gonna, like, help the game at all? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I feel the same way. It's like I love the original Pokemon Game Boy games.
Yeah.
But, like, they're crappy looking. Like, the sprites are, like, weird, like, freaking weird looking, and, like, the fact that you can't run, like, sucks. But, like, I don't like the updated ones as much. So they just lose that, like, ratchet Game Boy Color charm, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's sort of a charm about, like, retro stylings, and the fact that they're sort of colored by your first experience of it. That makes, like, rebooting something different than, like, just, like, an HD remaster. Like, that one's like, hooray, I can play my game on my new console. But, like, remaking it is just weird.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. I'll be interested to see fan response when story elements are changed in a classic game. That seems... I wouldn't do it. That wouldn't be my advice. But I also don't work at this... What are they, like a multi-billion-dollar company? So
yeah,
maybe that's why.
Because they develop and publish games. So
yeah.
They're like...
So, if all you multi-billion-dollar companies want to listen to my advice, I would say don't mess with story elements in your nostalgia-driven remakes, because everybody just wants to play the original game that they can't play anymore because they traded in their PS2 years ago.
Yeah. So speaking of excessive HD remasters, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, speaking of characters that look a little goofy.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yuck. Sora.
Oh my god, do it again.
Sora.
Do Donald.
I can't do Donald.
You have to try.
I don't know how to do Donald.
You have to try. Okay, good. That's all you need to know about Kingdom Hearts. No. Okay. I can do the summary for Kingdom Hearts, at least a little. You're gonna have to summarize the, 20,000, appendage games. You know?
Okay.
The drooping...
okay.
Yeah.
You got 2 hours? No, I'm just kidding.
Here we go. We'll be recording this talk literally until it goes up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about Final Fantasy, which, as we said, is this sort of anthology series of fantasy and, mechanical fantasy games where you've always got these, royal family folks.
Yeah.
But they're, human-looking, you know. They look like they belong in a JRPG.
Oh, but there's chocobos and moogles.
How do we not talk about chocobos?
I don't know.
We'll get back to it.
I want to ride my chocobo.
Is that a song in the game? You can't sing into the game, they'll sue us.
Oh, no, I don't remember how it goes. I just remember the existence that while you're riding around on a chocobo, Prompto comes up with a song about riding on the chocobo at some point.
If you check out our website, you'll see a photo of Emma with her chocobo, Friend.
Friend! He's bright pink.
We'll talk about Friend, the pink chocobo, later. Now we're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts. So Final Fantasy, we've got these, royal, noble characters. We've got tons of them now, right? There must be dozens of, characters that were lead or supporting in Final Fantasy games now, obviously. Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts is another one of those games that really no one should have said, yes, let's make this.
I know. I don't know how they approached Disney about this.
Okay. So... yeah, I know, right? What Disney executive was like, that sounds good. Let's sign off on that. So basically, it's you're in this, it's a mashup of Final Fantasy and Disney, which sounds very dumb, but is probably the greatest game of all time. That's not true, but is probably our greatest game of all time. So it's you are this dude, Sora, and you live on Destiny Islands, which, we've got all these, worlds. We have, planets, and we have interplanetary travel. But we don't know there's other worlds yet. Oh, spoiler alert.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No, that's not a spoiler alert. That doesn't count.
So you're this guy, Sora, and you live on on Destiny Islands, which is this, beautiful beach paradise, with your friends, Riku and Kairi, and you just live this beautiful beachy life. And you also there are other friends of yours, you, Sora and Riku and Kairi are Kingdom Hearts characters, but then there are other guys. Is Titus is one of them, and Waka. There are these other characters living on your island who are Final Fantasy characters, but in this world they're not. They're just your friends on Destiny Islands. And, it starts out with a tutorial, but we'll skip the tutorial. Although the tutorial, I think, is a great tutorial. We can talk about that. But, it's so hard to summarize, right? So one day there's, a big, meteor shower, and all these monsters appear, and you suddenly find yourself fighting with a giant key. This is so dumb. I'm explaining this, it's Emma's literally reenacting the cutscene where you get your Keyblade. That's it. It's the T. I thought you were trying to remind me what it was called for a minute. It's I know it's called the Keyblade, but then I remembered the scene. Yeah. And so you fight all of these monsters. You don't know what's going on, and eventually you get sucked into the darkness, and you find yourself in a whole other world called Traverse Town. And you're still battling monsters, you still don't really know what's going on exactly, but eventually you team up with pals Donald and Goofy. That's right, Donald Duck and Goofy the dog? Goofy's a dog, right?
It's a mystery why Goofy is a dog and Pluto is a dog.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
There's something wrong with Pluto, but...
And anyway, eventually it comes out, spoiler alert, that you're the chosen one, and the Keyblade chose you, and you have to go around defeating all these Heartless, these monsters, these people who have gotten lost their hearts to the darkness, and locking the keyholes. They're not called keyholes, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Are they really? That sounds so wrong.
Why does that sound wrong?
It just sounds too simple. We've got the Keyblade. It should be like, I don't know, locking the keyholes of all these worlds so that the hearts of the worlds are like safe from the Heartless taking them over. And so you fly around. It's like the worlds are Disney worlds mostly. There are a couple of ones that are, like original. But it's like you go to Alice in Wonderland's world, and you go to
Olympus
Coliseum. I don't remember what Tarzan's world is called, but it's Tarzan World.
Deep Jungle.
Deep Jungle, thank you. It's Wonderland and Agrabah from Aladdin and Atlantica from The Little Mermaid. And that's your mermaid in that one.
Halloween Town.
Yeah. Is that it? I think those are all the Disney ones in the first game.
From Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And
Neverland.
And you learn all sorts of heartwarming things and make friends and battle
while trying to find your friends.
While trying to find your friends, because we don't know what happened to them because your world got overrun with Heartless.
Riku and Kairi.
Yeah. I don't know how much can I talk about this without... This is an ancient game.
I don't know. Okay. Let's talk about a little bit about Kingdom Hearts as a series as a whole.
Sure.
So, here's my theory about the Kingdom Hearts story. I think that Tetsuya Nomura made Kingdom Hearts 1 without any real intention of where he was going to take it from there. But by the time he got to Kingdom Hearts 2, he sort of had a story in mind, and that did mean sort of overwriting some of the plot points that had been established in Kingdom Hearts 1, such as the instance of like, oh, the Keyblade chose you, and you're the chosen one, and that sort of stuff. But from Kingdom Hearts 2 on, there's been sort of like a consistent story, and like the secret videos have sort of shown that he knows what's going next, in a way. You know what I mean?
Kingdom Hearts 1 had a secret video.
Yeah, but I feel like that one, like, even though it turns up in Kingdom Hearts 2, it was more like, this would look cool.
That's fair.
I feel like, I feel like that one's more like, this would be cool, whereas some of the other ones are more like, oh, yeah, like, this is the entire concept. Like, the one from Kingdom Hearts 2 is like, this is all, like, Birth by Sleep. This is the culminating scene of Birth by Sleep. Like, so he must have had that idea in mind when he made it.
Well, to be fair, it's like, if I'm developing Kingdom Hearts, I'm not predicting this is going to be a blockbuster game.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like, who is the target audience for Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah.
Everyone, apparently. But also...
Yeah. No, but I would also I want to say, like, as Kingdom Hearts has gone on, like, Kingdom Hearts 1 is pretty, like, Disney. You know? On the Disney to Final Fantasy scale.
Yeah.
And as it's gone on, it's gotten more Final Fantasy. I think because Kingdom Hearts 1 was probably, I think, geared a little younger. And then they've been geared a little bit older.
Well, that makes sense,
in
right?
Some
like,
ways.
You're assuming that the gamers grow up with the games. Although at this point, it's like, you're too late. Like...
I mean... Kingdom Hearts 3 so far, the combat, which is really all we've seen, but looks really awesome.
No, I'm not saying it's not going to be awesome. Like, I'm really excited to play it. But I just have to say, it's like, how long has it taken them to release Kingdom Hearts? Like, Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in, like, 2001, right?
Yeah.
So, like, 16 years later, 17 really, maybe, 17 years later minimum. I know they've had a ton of games, and we'll talk about...
I know, I just wanted to count. Okay, there's been Kingdom Hearts 1... Chain of Memories. I'm not going to count, like, Chain of Memories and Chain of Memories. It's just one game.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 2. However many days. That one.
365 over something.
Yeah. Coded. Birth by Sleep.
Dream Drop Distance.
Dream Drop Distance. Unchained. And then the Unchained sort of is the same as, like, the original. Oh, and then
1.5.
0.2, A Fragmentary Passage.
Wow, I've never even heard of that one.
Well, it's the new one. It's Kingdom Hearts 2.8. It's got 0.2, A Fragmentary Passage, the PlayStation remaster of Dream Drop Distance, and like a compilation of cutscenes from Unchained.
So yeah, plus they have Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Kingdom Hearts 2.5, Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, as much as people are like, oh, they just want my money, like, they want people to play Kingdom Hearts 3, even people who did not grow up with the games. So they've been trying to make the games accessible to a new audience.
No, I understand that, but
right?
they should title them something different if they're doing that, because 2.8 just seems manipulative to me.
Well, it's Final Chapter Prologue is what it's actually called.
Fine.
It's Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter
Whatever.
Prologue. Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, but what I was saying was, so yeah, you're talking about how they want to make it accessible. So maybe we'll jump right into my main problem with how the series has been structured to this point. So, Kingdom Hearts 1 is a PlayStation 2 game. It's released on the PlayStation 2. It was actually like one of the very first games we got when we got our PlayStation 2. So, like, it was back then. It was back there. It was like an early PS2 game. Kingdom Hearts 2 is PS2? It's PS2, right?
Yeah.
It was also a PlayStation
PS2.
2 game. In the middle of those, we have Chain of Memories, which is like a Game Boy Advance game originally. And let me tell you, folks, as someone who had the Game Boy Advance version on the Game Boy Advance, it sucks. It's a bad game. It's an okay game when you play the PS2 like remaster of it, but it sucks on your Game Boy.
Yeah, it has a silly combat system.
Yeah. We have this like funky combat system with the cards, and like eventually you can get, I don't know, I just feel like the PlayStation 2 one was so much easier than like trying to play this on my tiny little Game Boy Advance SP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's just the case of console versus mobile gaming in general.
That's fine.
Like, it's always better to play it. Like, as I've played Dream Jump Distance, too, except for the fact that I keep using the wrong controls because I had just played Nier Automata when I started playing it, and I kept, like, mashing the wrong button to dodge. I was like, why isn't he, like, sliding all over the place? Because that's not the same game. But it's much easier to play on the PlayStation than it was on the 3DS.
Okay, so Ella brings up my main point. So, Kingdom Hearts has been released on, like, every mobile game system that exists. There is a Kingdom Hearts game. There is one on the Game Boy Advance. There is one on the PSP. Like, where else do they...
There's two on the DS.
Two on the DS.
One on the 3DS.
I would bet you there's one on the Vita. Well, there will be soon. Probably before they release Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, they're not releasing anything else before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay, so my problem with the series is that, you know, you can play Kingdom Hearts. I mean, obviously you can play Kingdom Hearts without having played any of the other games, 'cause it's the first game. And you can even sort of play Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that Chain of Memories really clears up anything important.
I feel like it
Kingdom
did,
Hearts
for
2.
me, personally.
Well, at least not at the beginning. Like, I guess you know why Sora's in an egg.
Spoiler.
But other than that, like, he doesn't know why he was in an egg. So in that way, it sort of makes sense.
That's fine.
Because, like, you're figuring it out
I
also.
still want to say that the game made a lot more sense to me having played Chain of Memories first.
Okay.
But it's not essential. Like, I will grant that, like, you can play 1 and you can play 2 and you can follow what's going along. And Emma and I have had this debate before, and so we'll see what happens when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. But I am very skeptical that you will be able to play Kingdom Hearts 3 without...
Well, no. Of course you
didn't
won't.
let me finish my thing.
That's why they're making everything accessible now, because if you skipped any of those games, now you just have to buy, like, they released 1.5 and 2.5 on the PS3, and then they released a 1.5, 2.5 compilation for the PS4. Like, now you can get to all those games on one system, so if you skipped them before, you can get to them now, and you have, like, a whole year to play through them.
I recognize that. However, I still believe that they should have released them on the PlayStation family of systems first. I think that we should have forgot.
To be fair, though, it is only 2 families of systems.
No, I recognize that they're not asking you to buy an Xbox. Like, they weren't saying, like, we're going to make you buy 3 consoles. Like, that's fine. Like, I appreciate that, like, at least if you're going to make me jump consoles, you're making me just, like, jump to mobile ones that I probably have. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, again, like, if they were going to hire me at this multi-billion-dollar company, I would have said, you know what's a better way to handle this? Let's do it Final Fantasy style and release them all this way.
Oh. But Final Fantasy has mobile games, too. They're just not interconnected, so there's no need to have played them.
Right, but I'm saying, like, let's release them all on the PlayStation, if we're going to do that eventually anyway. And then people will realize... Because I just feel like, and this may be my bias, but I just feel like something about a game being released on mobile tells me that it's not important.
I mean, they are smaller games, to be fair. Like, in terms of sheer amount of hours.
Well, that's fine. Release them as downloadable content, just like we're doing with this...
Well, they didn't have that option back in, like, 2008.
Yeah, I know. Okay, fine. Release them as shorter games and charge less.
Now they could have, like, you know, they could do their PlayStation Network game or whatever. But that's not... They didn't have really that option.
I know.
As good of an option with that.
I'm just grumpy because I really want to be able to play Kingdom Hearts 3, but I haven't...
Well, we have all the games now. You can play them
by the
all.
time this episode airs, I'm not going to live with the games anymore.
Sorry. You could take the PlayStation 3 if you wanted.
Really?
I don't mind.
I might.
Yeah.
What are you...
Mal's moving to New York.
Now everyone knows where I'm going.
Yeah, but no, I have my PlayStation 4. You can take the PlayStation 4.
Wow, I might actually take you up on that.
Sure.
Then I'll have a PlayStation and an Xbox. I'll have systems that are super behind in two different console families.
Yep.
So I'll be able to play nothing new.
But no, based on the few things from the trailer, the lore is going to be important in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, I'm going to have to play. Although, as...
You can even, like, there are summary videos on YouTube.
No. I'm going to play them. I will play them. Although, as okay. Dad told me...
I haven't played, of the two that are unnecessary, I would say that Days and Coded are pretty unnecessary. Like, Days, maybe Days, parts of Days are necessary, but not all of it. If you get the basic gist of it,
I think I started Dream Drop Distance once.
Yeah, Dream Drop Distance is important, and Dream Drop Distance is the one that I have a big issue with, because I think that it added too many elements. It's like, oh, let's add time travel to this. Oh, great. Thanks, Kingdom Hearts.
Uh-oh.
But the story is not, like... Besides the fact that some of the things said in Kingdom Hearts 1 are not how it turned out, those could be played off as just, like, misunderstandings on the people who explain it to Sora. Like, they're not, like, major logic flaws, right? There are no major logic flaws in Kingdom Hearts. It's just that there's a lot of moving parts, and trying to remember how they all fit together is a little bit hard, right? That's the issue with the story, is that just it's really big. Yeah. But it's not like things don't make sense, or you don't see how things play to each other, or you feel like, this is stupid or whatever. It's just, like, it's hard to conceptualize how everything works together to lead to a point.
Anyway, I will play them. Like, I'm saying I will. But Dad did tell me after my side quest last week, where I was like, how do people play games as an adult? And he was like, you don't. He said, like...
You play them you get your kids to play
That's how
games.
Kingdom Hearts happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he was like, yeah, like, I have some game of something I started 6 months ago and I haven't played since then, and I have another game I haven't played for 3 months, and I was like, great.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna play them. I will. Especially if I steal Emma's PS3.
I would definitely at least play Birth by Sleep, because honestly, I think that's... Like, in spite of the fact that Sora is not your playable character, like, that's one of the... I think it's the best one in terms of gameplay so far.
That's fine. I will. Now that I can steal your PS3, for sure. With maybe the exception
of 0.2, just because that's, like, a preview of the system that's going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, which looks really good, and, like, a combination of all the good elements of the other games. But of what's out right now, I like Birth by Sleep's combat system the best. Plus, it has, like... finally has a good playable female character. Like, for all of that, Kingdom Hearts is fun. Its female characters are stupid. It's like,
I'm trying to think.
You spend all of the first game looking for, like, a lifeless Kairi.
That's not her fault.
Like, great. I know that's not her fault, but she's very passive in all the events that happen, which is just bad writing. In some ways.
It's unfortunate writing. I mean, the story in Kingdom Hearts is I'll go to the mat for it. Like, in Kingdom Hearts 1, I'm sorry. It's like a perfect game. I'm going to say it. It's like my favorite game ever.
Yeah, well, sure.
It's so heartwarming.
No, but it's just like, in terms of the story as it happens, especially as it's developed, like maybe less so in Kingdom Hearts 1, but from Kingdom Hearts 2 on, the relationship between Sora and Kairi that was sort of like the main driving point of the first one is sort of secondary to like the friendship rivalry between Sora and Riku. And while Riku's a great character, and I would say a better character than Sora in a lot of ways, a better written one, it's just sort of sad to see like that.
Yeah, we can't have a fully fleshed out female character also.
Yeah. But you got Aqua. Aqua is
They should have just made it Daisy Duck and we would have been fine.
There you go.
She does show up.
She is in it.
No, if they had had Daisy and Goofy, we'd have been all set. We'd been all over that.
Yeah.
Or played as Yuffie instead.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, I saw a video today of an ice skater doing a routine to the instrumental Simple and Clean.
That's because that
I know.
That's
what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, the soundtrack for Kingdom Hearts is, again, really up there on my video game soundtracks of all time.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And it's like literally, it's like the beginning and the ending are the same song. But it's so moving.
Yeah. And the opening sequences are also always really great. Like from the very first one, they play the intro music and they do these intros that are just like
I'm trying to do the
awesome.
Riku thing, but I can't.
Oh my gosh. Riku, reach a little bit. Come on. He's just like standing there with his hand out. Not even fully extended. He was like, Sora, take my hand. I'm not going to help you. You have to do it all by yourself.
I also want to say that Kingdom Hearts has a great, I'm sorry, this just turned into me, like, saying all the things that I like about Kingdom Hearts that I wish other games would do. But, like, their tutorial in 1 is excellent. Like, it's not boring. Yeah. It's not boring for me, even though I know how to play the game, and I have to play it.
Their tutorial in 2 is nuts.
No, the tutorial in 2 is, what is going on? I'm not playing as Sora. Why am I doing all these dumb games and eating these blue salt pops?
Who are these people? The last couple of days are okay because it's not like, move the joystick to walk.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
No.
Like, they stole our...
The tutorial in 2 sucks. And I don't know why they didn't just reuse the tutorial in 1, honestly.
Well, I feel like if it had been more like 1 where you could just, like, wander around the island, wander around Twilight Town, and you had, like, something you had to do, but you didn't have to do it. There's other things you could do, as opposed to being, like, you know... Well, it was like they had, like, the Dive into the Heart tutorial, which is, like, the babying tutorial a little bit. It's like, move the joystick to walk, da-da-da. But it's fun because you're doing all these weird things and you're in this weird environment. But if you try to put that just like Roxas being in Twilight Town, it doesn't. It's like, okay, but I've played this game before.
Yeah.
Just let me run around.
And
it's like the first 4 days are like, why is...
And that really contributed to my... Like, we got Kingdom Hearts 2 when it came out, when I was... How old would I have been when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out?
It only came out like 2 or 3 years after the first one.
No, it has to have been later than that, because we got
so.
it pretty soon after it came out.
Or maybe it was 2006.
Okay, whatever. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and I'm, like, in middle school now, let's say. Like, that seems like a reasonable amount of time to have passed, right? Emma seems to be looking it up, I think. So we'll find out. And, like, I was really excited about it, and I really liked Kingdom Hearts. And, I didn't make it through Kingdom Hearts 2 until I was about to leave for college.
End of 2005.
Really? Wow. I felt like it took longer than that, but I guess it didn't. Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, then it took me, like, a full 8 years to finish that game.
Yeah. No, I probably didn't finish it until I was in middle school, but it's still the first game that I remember finishing entirely by myself. And I would also argue that even though, you know, it's like a very different, it's like a shift in how the story was told, and that can be good or bad, but there's at least, like, the first Kingdom Hearts, when we were young, it was sort of perfect, because a lot of it is you mash the buttons, right?
Still my favorite kind of game.
And Kingdom Hearts 2, I mean, you still do, but there's more variety, right? Like, you can change into different styles, and your magic works differently, and you have, like, reaction commands and all that sort of stuff, so it makes it a little bit more interesting. And there was some more, like, interesting, like, events, like when you had the Battle of 1,000 Heartless was really fun. Want to mash up these games?
Oh, I have a couple more Kingdom Hearts little things I want to do first.
Go ahead.
Which do you pick at the beginning of the game? Sword, magic, or shield? Or staff?
I usually picked sword, which is probably the dumb one to pick, honestly, but that's what I usually picked. And I would usually give up the shield.
You gotta give up the shield. Like, that's just the...
Except, but it can be better.
No, never take the shield. I don't think I've ever played the game where you take the shield.
I think you get scan faster.
That's true. Scan is important. But it's fine. You just level grind on Destiny Islands until you get it anyway, and then you leave.
Yeah.
I'm like 50-50. Sometimes I pick the staff, and sometimes I pick the sword, but I always give up the shield. Cool. Least favorite cutscene of all time?
Dragon.
Is it the dragon, or is it the...
Lead me into everlasting darkness.
Oh, man.
No, it has to be from the first one, because that was the only one where you couldn't skip the cutscenes.
I was going to say, is it the dragon one, or is it the one where you're battling Riku, like, right around that time?
I don't know. One of those two.
Oh, man. Favorite quote?
That
was good.
Just the Donald upset
that was a good
sound.
One.
No sad faces. Smiles. I don't remember the exact line,
That's a good one. But the obvious choice, even though it's a spoiler alert, and that is a good one, but here comes my spoiler alert favorite quote. Kingdom Hearts is light!
Is light!
Well, that was too loud for my microphone, I think. Sorry about that, folks. I'm trying to think of what else I want to ask. Would you wear Sora's outfit?
Yes.
Big shoes included.
We have those yellow Converse.
That's true.
That's basically Sora's shoes.
That's true. You should cosplay. What happened to the parents on Destiny Island?
They exist.
Yeah, I know.
This one scene in the beginning was like, Sora, dinner's ready.
Yep.
Nope. But I didn't realize this in the first Kingdom Hearts, but they make it clearer in Kingdom Hearts 2, is that, like, the island they're on, they don't all live there. There's a mainland.
Yeah.
That they actually live on. They don't all fit into this one little island. Which I sort of didn't think about in the first one, but...
What else can I talk about? Do you love the 100 Acre Wood?
Not really.
But the end of it is so heartwarming.
Yeah, it's just like the mini games are such a slog.
The mini games are a drag, but that's okay. What about the gummy ships? How do you feel about the gummy ship?
No.
Oh, but it's so cool once it's like all leveled up.
No.
Do you have a favorite Keyblade?
I mean, Oathkeeper and Oblivion are always the cool ones, but...
Nice. Ultima Weapon.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Not really. It's
not that we ever got. We never played enough to get the Ultima Weapon.
I did once. But I don't really remember. Any other questions that I want to ask about Kingdom? Well, how are we going to mash these games together?
I don't know.
They're already... And, like, we previewed how this is going to be a problem last week. But, like, literally Kingdom Hearts is already, like, if I mashed my favorite...
If I mashed
Disney Skate Adventure... just kidding. Only not. Is Disney Skate Adventure in the hat? Because I want to talk about it.
There is skateboards in Kingdom Hearts 2, so it literally is.
Yeah, that's true.
Disney Skate Adventure.
But it's already a mashup, so how do we create a mashup?
There's chocobos.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't talk about chocobos.
The one lacking element of Kingdom Hearts is that there are no chocobos.
Yet.
I know. I demand it in Kingdom Hearts 3. Put the development off another few months just to add some chocobos.
And selfies.
Yeah, and the selfie function.
It's like, how do you... It would be like if the Kingdom Hearts series had no relation to each other. It's like you just played as different Keyblade Masters through the years. in different parallel universes. It's the only way I could think of. Or, like, fewer of the worlds were... Oh, I got it. You play as a Disney character, but most of the worlds are Final Fantasy worlds.
There you go.
That sucks.
Or, like, an original Disney-like character. As opposed to an original Final Fantasy-like character. So you just swap it all. Just turn it over.
Yeah, literally just flip it backwards. It's made by...
I mean, you'd run out of worlds pretty quick, but...
No, there's tons of Final Fantasy worlds.
Well, there's 15 of them.
Well, the game would suck if you played as a Disney-style character and went to Final Fantasy worlds anyway, so, like, it's fine.
What?
The game would only sell one. So, it's fine.
How about we think specifically Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15? Okay. So, at the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts, you're building a raft so that you can sail off the island, which is the stupidest idea people have ever had, but that's what you're doing, okay? So, instead of all the Heartless coming and whatever, you just pack off with your bros, Riku and Kairi, and you get on your raft, and it's like an open world thing, and you have to sail across worlds and just, like, go on these side quests.
Great. So what you're describing is an endless gummy ship level, and I'm going to tell you that that's a bad idea.
No. But they're really close to each other, so you only have to sail on your raft for a little bit. Like, that's the beginning, and then you find a new world, and you get a car and some chocobos, and you go around to different worlds, and you do side quests, and you fight
Better
things.
answer. The game is the exact same, but Sora and Donald and Goofy are all chocobos.
There you go. In a boy band.
Yeah. They take a lot of photos of each other.
Yeah.
Better mashup. All of this, but we also add Pokemon.
What?
I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff in now. It's like, wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun if the Final Fantasy characters visited Pokemon World? Visited Kanto? The Hoenn region? The Johto region?
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Sure.
Let's add another crossover. Let's see. What else can I cross over?
It's technically just Square Enix characters now, too, because in Dream Drop Distance, they have the characters from The World Ends With You.
Well, cut them out, because that's not what this mashup is.
That's it. You just take those guys out, and then it's a full crossover.
Let's see. What else? They're already including the superheroes in the next one, right?
Big Hero 6.
Oh, I was talking about Marvel.
Oh, I don't know. The only worlds that have been announced are Olympus Coliseum, Tangled, Big Hero 6, and Toy Story.
I feel like I heard rumors of there being, or maybe Star Wars. Disney owns,
of course, Disney owns them.
Great.
So of course
Let's put Star Wars in there.
But the live action worlds have always looked super stupid.
I don't care. Let's put Star Wars in there. Let's put Marvel in there. What else? I'm just making the ultimate crossover. Crossover event.
Jurassic
Park. Love it. Great.
Planet of the Apes.
Easy. It's already its own planet. Call of Duty.
Saving Private
Portal.
Ryan. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
These are not series. It's no good if they're not series. You can't just put in your favorite books.
It's fine. I'm just listing things. Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games. That's good. Those are books, but that's fine. Harry Potter. Boom. Why don't we already have Harry Potter?
I don't know. Doctor Who.
Great.
Star Trek.
You just keep saying
Now we're
words.
just listing things.
Banana. Convertible.
Minions.
Oh, not Minions. Oh, no. No.
No Minions. Banana.
American Girl dolls. Digimon.
Beanie Babies. Cabbage Patch Kids.
Amazon.com.
Smurfs. Troll dolls.
So bad. Shopkins.
This sounds like a great game, doesn't it, Square Enix? Please call
The
us.
licensing fees alone.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Square Enix, we're here. Got to contact
This is probably what they did.
Website.
They were at Square Enix. They were like, okay, we want to do a Final Fantasy crossover with something big. Like,
just list things.
What can it be?
What should it
and
be?
eventually someone said Disney, and they were all like, that's a dumb idea. Let's talk to them about it.
Yeah, that's stupid.
When will they build a Kingdom Hearts thing at Disney World?
They should. I would go on
I don't know what it would be.
That would be awesome.
Oh, it's a gummy ship ride. That's what it should be.
They should just make like a world. Like Harry Potter world.
That's not Disney.
Kingdom Hearts world.
Yeah, I'm sure Kingdom Hearts makes as much money for them as, Moana.
Of course it does.
Emma's grinning. Her face is growing more strained. Okay, now that we have our awesome epic crossover event that doesn't really actually accomplish the task of mashing the two games together at all, this has been another episode. A supersized episode. Because we already paid for extra storage this month.
Or I will.
of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
As usual, I'm your host, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And if you want, you could follow us on social media if you've loved this episode. We'll probably post a bunch about Kingdom Hearts this week, or I will. I have already, by the time this airs, posted a bunch about Kingdom Hearts this week. Follow us on Instagram, check out the website, or on Facebook, or on Twitter, although our Twitter is mostly just our Instagram, but whatever, follow us anyway. Yep. It's all Talk This Podcast.
Like us give us 5 stars, or 4 stars, one of those two on iTunes.
Give us whatever star rating you feel is appropriate on iTunes.
5 stars. Leave us a review.
Emma's telling you it's 5 stars.
Tell all your friends to subscribe.
Yeah.
Really helps us out.
We love subscribers. What else? If you have fun video game things to do in New York, or you want to offer me a place to live, let me know.
Balance charmed you with her great jokes.
Yeah. Wasn't it a funny joke this week?
Offer her a place in your apartment.
Tell us about all of your favorite things and least favorite things about Kingdom Hearts. How many times did you have to play the Maleficent Dragon boss and watch that stupid scene before you made it through?
10,007,000.
Did you find all the Dalmatians? How many of these games have you played?
All of them.
Did you like having to scour the screen for the Trinity marks?
Nope.
Did you ever switch out members of your party?
Sure.
Emma's already given the answers, so no need, unless you really want to tell us.
Oh, in Kingdom Hearts 3, you don't have to switch out party members.
You can just add a bonus party member?
Yeah. Isn't that such a better system?
That is a better system.
I know.
Alright, I was about to sign off, but then I realized we have to pick the games.
Oh, do you have the hats?
No, they're downstairs, and I'm not about to go get them, because I have my big new microphone, and I can't just, walk and talk. So I'm pulling up the website now.
Okay.
There we go. Talk This. Oh, what a great website. You should really check it out.
TalkThisPodcast.com is my favorite website.
Here we go. Games in the Hat. Oh, this is such an aesthetically pleasing picture of hats, Emma. Good job.
I know.
All right, pick a number. You're doing new games. Actually, you're going to pick numbers for both, because I have it pulled up.
Okay.
So this will be new.
It's
not that
10.
high stakes. 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tales of Berseria. Did we do this one? No, we didn't. Okay, never mind.
We didn't do this one.
All right, pick another number.
13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Chrono Trigger.
Oh, great.
Oh,
cool.
You couldn't have picked one that I know?
You should know Chrono Trigger.
We scroll past all these games. I'm like, oh, I can talk about that. I can talk about that. Chrono Trigger.
Sorry.
That's fine. It'll be a great episode. So yeah, tune in 2 weeks for another episode. Tune in next week for an awesome side quest.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll shake them up. I'm starting to get bored with our side quest format.
Me too. We should do something different.
So
give us suggestions.
Yeah, if you got other ideas for side quests, we'd love to hear them. Anything else you want to say, Emma? Other than Kingdom Hearts is life?
You've just got one more thing to say.
Yeah. Have a simple and clean day.
Or a great one.